Chapter 3 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. Lin Chingyu got up and left. The patient himself has lost all desire to live. So, what did he have to worry about? The sooner Lu Wancheng died, the sooner he could return to the Lin residence. Lin Chingyu went to the study. He came to the Nananhao mansion with only 2 boxes of things. One box contained clothing and the other contained medical books. According to the rules of the Hao mansion, he could bring 2 dowry maids with him, but he wasn't used to being served by women. When he was in the Lin residence, he had one page who grew up with him, who joined him in his studies and reading. It wasn't some glamorous thing to be married as a male wife. He didn't want his little page to enter the Hao mansion as dowry. And so he came to Hao mansion alone, with probably only 1 box of medical books to keep him company in the future. Among medical books, there were many ancient ones that he had yet to read. He didn't know there may be records of cases similar to Lu Wancheng's in these ancient books. Lin Chingyu immersed himself in his reading and finally calmed down. When he was in school, his classmates thought that medical books were boring and complicated. Reading just 3 pages was enough to get them sleeping. But for Lin Chingyu, these novels his schoolmates yearned for weren't even a tenth as interesting as medical books. He, like his father, had a highly retentive memory. What his classmates took a day to memorize, he needed only to read once to be able to memorize and recite backwards. His father was once of a mind to have him take the imperial examination, but he just wanted to be a medical officer. He liked the feeling of a patient getting better under his own hands. He wanted to enter the imperial hospital where famous doctors from all over the world gathered. He wanted to hone his medical skills with them, to find cures for all kinds of intractable diseases, and to help the people. He could have, he almost could have. Xiaojun? The voice did not sound like that of a servant girl's. Lin Chingyu looked up. Sure enough, it was the Momo who kept pestering him to change his way of address. It was said that her surname was Liao. Lin Chingyu said coldly, "What?" Liao Momo was all smiles. "Xiaojun, it's time to eat." Lin Chingyu didn't have any appetite at all, but these dogs in the Nananhao mansion weren't worth harming his body over. "Bring the food, I will eat in the study." Liao Mamo waved her hands again and again. "This cannot be, Xiaojun." Lin Chingyu frowned. "Why can it not be? Does the Hao mansion rules say not eating in the study?" "That's not the case. It is the madam's order. It was because of the Chongshi that our young master got his life back. Xiaojun is the young master's lucky star. You must stay together that the young master's illness can heal faster." To refute such remarks would only make him appear stupid. If a Chongshi really could cure diseases, what need would Dayu have for doctors? Why would the court go to such great lengths to train medical officers? If you get sick, then you get married, then everything would be fine and well with the world. Lin Chingyu looked at Liao Mamo and asked, "Momo, how old will you be this year?" Liao Mamo didn't know what Lin Chingyu intended by asking this question. Nevertheless, she still smiled and said, "This old woman is 52. A 52-year-old who looks like 42. I might not necessarily live to reach 52. Momo is very lucky. You should be the one to take care of the young master. That way, he would heal even faster. Lao Mamo's face smile froze. Shajun Jess. Lin Chingyu's face turned cold. Do I look like I'm joking? Go. Liao Mamo's face turned extremely ugly. She was Madame Hao, Liang Shi's confidant, who in the Hao mansion, save for the masters, dared to not treat her with respect. Even the masters usually give her a lot of face. What was Lin Xingyu? Wording it nicely, he was the Shao Jun, but put another way, he was just the male wife bought by the Hao mansion to renew the life of the young master. This was only his first day since he was married into this family, and he was already scowling at her. Seeing that Lao Mao made no move to leave, Lin Qingyu sneered. You do not know to recognize your betters. A servant dares to turn a deaf ear to the Shaojun's order? Is this not one of the rules of the Hao mansion? Madame Liu lowered her eyes. The servant dares not. It is only that Madame has personally ordered the servant to bring this chicken soup she had ordered to be stirred with ginseng. If Shaojun and the young master does not have a taste of it, it would be a betrayal of the madam's good intention. Ginseng chicken soup? Stupid. Did they not know that a person who is in poor health cannot handle tonic like foods? Did Liang Shi think that her son was not sick enough? She had merely personally ordered someone to make it. She hadn't personally made it herself. Lin Qingyu no longer looked at her. He turned a page of his medical book. You give it to the young master. Liao Mama gritted her teeth. She secretly gave Lin Qingyu a dirty look, took the chicken soup and left. Calm was restored in the study, but Lin Qingyu grew a bit absent-minded instead. Lu Wancheng is currently suffering from gastrointestinal damage. Having him ingest tonics would only be putting frost atop snow on his already weak body. Lu Wancheng has been ill since he was a child, and prolonged illness runs patients into doctors. How could Liang Shi, as his mother, not even know this? Once or twice was fine, but if done over the long term, Lu Wancheng's body would definitely become weaker and weaker. Fine, he will just consider it as him doing good works and accumulating merit. Lu Wancheng's situation was really rare, and he wanted more time to study it. Lin Qingyu left the study and came to the dining room, but he didn't see Lu Wancheng. He asked a passing maidservant, "Where is the young master?" Maidservant. The young master said he was too lazy to get up and wanted to eat in bed. It was only right for laid-up patients to lie down more. Lin Qingyu headed once again to the bedroom. Before he even entered the room, he was already saying, "The ginseng chicken soup your mother sent, don't." Huh? Sitting up in bed, Lu Wancheng was eating rice porridge with some side dishes. There was a square table in front of Lu Wancheng's bed. Most of the things on the table were light dishes, except for the big pot of chicken soup with ginseng slices in it. Lin Qingyu saw the pristine soup ladle beside the pot. Lu Wancheng actually hadn't touched the chicken soup. Lu Wancheng chewed slowly, swallowing all the contents in his mouth before saying, "Dr. Lin, what an unexpected visit from such an infrequent visitor. Have you eaten?" Lin Qingyu asked, "This is ginseng chicken soup that your mother personally ordered someone to make. Why don't you drink it?" Lu Wancheng wiped his mouth with the kerchief and said casually, "I can't eat the things she sends." Lin Qingyu asked curiously, "Why? They say I have half a year left to live. So, any moment less than that would be less than half a year. If they want to send me away sooner, then I would have to make a fuss about it. Lin Qingyu became more and more surprised. Why would they want to send you away sooner? Lu Wancheng winked. Care to venture a guess? Lin Qingyu was momentarily speechless. Do you think you're funny? Lu Wancheng laughed out loud. He laughed so much he accidentally choked himself. Coughing again and again, his handsome face turned a pale red. Lin Qingyu had no idea that what Lu Wancheng was laughing about. But it wasn't difficult to see that the relationship between Lu Wancheng and Liang Shi wasn't the compassionate mother and filial son relationship that it seemed to be on the surface. Seeing the maidservant by his side hurriedly patting Lu Wancheng's back for him, Ling Qingyu took back his half outstretched hand. What's so funny? Lu Wancheng stopped coughing with a smile in his breath. I am but a little funny, but still very full of delight. Lin Qingyu disdained. With your broken body, I'm afraid you won't be able to make use of whatever delightfulness you have, no matter how big it is. You're right, Lu Wancheng sighed. This body is really holding me back. If only I were in my own. What do you mean? Lu Wancheng smiled and sidestepped the question. Well, I'm here now. Dr. Lin, sit down and have a meal. I can't drink this chicken soup, but you can. Lin Qingyu said. Where do you want me to sit? Lu Wancheng looked around. Why don't you come sit on the bed too? Lin Qingyu didn't feel the least bit Lin Qingyu didn't feel the least bit grateful. Excuse me, just eat by yourself. I'll be taking my leave. Wait, Lu Wancheng stopped him. I have something I want to give you. I was just reading the list of gifts we have received from the guests, and I have found a gift that suits you very well. Lin Qingyu didn't even look at it. No. Lu Wancheng gave it. At least take a look at it first. Just a look won't cost you anything. Hualu? Hualu was the other maid besides Fengshen, who was stationed to serve in the room. She was rather quick-witted and lovely. She presented him with something and said with a smile, If the young master hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known what this is. Lin Qingyu condescended to give it a look and was startled. What Hualu had given him was something similar to a cloth bag. It was made of leather and could be rolled up easily. Spread out, it was only a thin layer and couldn't hold anything. Ordinary people might not be able to tell what it was, but doctors would know at a glance that it was an acupuncture bag. The inner double layer was where the needles were inserted. Lin Qingyu couldn't help from reaching out his hand, stroking this first-class leather bag that felt so good to the touch. His long eyelashes trembled slightly. His eyes turned deep and dark. Lu Wancheng smiled and said, Do you like it? The Nananhao mansion had celebrated a wedding, and most of those who sent gifts were high-ranking dignitaries in the capital. Lin Qingyu picked up the gift list from the table and looked at it. Most of them were gold, silver, and jade, antique calligraphy, and paintings. A small acupuncture bag paled in comparison against them. But Lu Wancheng insisted on giving him this. Lin Qingyu looked at the characters embroidered in gold thread on the outside of the bag. Lulin wedding, forever with one heart. A self deprecating smile appeared on the corner of his lips. Thank you, young Master Hao, for your kindness. But what is the point of giving me this? Lu Wancheng placed a fist against his lips and coughed. Why would it be pointless? You can use it in the future. Oh, for your exclusive use, you mean? Lu Wancheng's smile faded and he was silent for a while. He said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I just. Halfway through, he lost all seriousness. If you don't want it, then you don't want it. Don't be angry. Although an angry Dr. Lin is also very eye catching, too much anger is bad for your health. As the saying goes, if you think back on it, you will find that losing your head over trivial things is unnecessary. If you die from anger, who will feel satisfied? Moreover, it is bothersome and laborious. Lin Qingyu said calmly, I'm not angry. Lu Wancheng beckoned to Hua Lu. Hua Lu brought her ear closer to him. What's the matter, young master? Lu Wancheng said, Someone's angry, but I won't tell you who it is. Lin Qingyu, ... Shh. Lu Wancheng raised his index finger in front of his lips and looked out of the window. That mother of mine is here. Lin Qingyu sneered. Who are you shushing? You are the one who keeps talking. As for your mother, she's probably here to critique me violently. Lu Wancheng stroked his chin and said, Let me guess. Did she tell you to stick close to me, but you didn't feel like paying her any attention? In his surprise, Lin Qingyu forgot to be angry. How did you know? Lu Wancheng smiled meaningfully. I know a lot of things. Lin Qingyu thought for a moment, then smiled. He lifted his sleeves and took up Lu Wancheng's bowl of half-eaten porridge. Young Master Hao, I will feed you your rice porridge. Lu Wancheng. Eh? Outside, Lang Shi, with Liu Maomao lending her arm for support, entered the courtyard. Feng Xin greeted her and said, Greetings, madam. Lang Shi asked her, Where is the young master? Answering madam, the young master is eating in the bedroom. Is Xiaojun with him? Feng Xin shook her head. Xiaojun is alone in the study. Lao Mamo whispered, Madam, you have heard it yourself. What I told you were all things that Xiaojun had said. Lang Shi straightened her hair ornament by her temples and said calmly, I believe you. Let's go. We will go in and take a look. Liao Mamo walked lightning quick, opening the way for her mistress. The eldest young master has just woken up last night. It is precisely at this time that he needs someone to wait upon him. Although there is a maid in the room, Xiaojun is Xiaojun after all. With the husband laid up in bed, what reason could there be for his wife not to take care of him? This is only the first day, and Xiaojun is already neglecting him so. How is this worthy of our Lo family's marriage? Everyone knew that Nanan Hao Mansion's madam had a gentle temperament. Yet, at this moment, she too couldn't help pulling a long face as she sped up her pace. The two rushed into the inner room, almost like fire was nipping at their heels. The wedding decorations had yet to be removed. Lu Wancheng was half lying on the marriage bed. Lin Qingyu was seated beside him, holding the porridge bowl in one hand and holding the spoonful of porridge to Lu Wancheng's mouth with the other. He called to him, Young Master Hao. Lu Wancheng laughed and said, "It's a bit hot. Blow on it first." Lin Chingyu narrowed his eyes, looking like he was about to poke a hole in Lu Wancheng's smiling face. In any case, the husbands, one handsome and luxurious, the other bright and dignified, looked nothing but joyous and harmonious. It seemed that their time together would be good and peaceful. Lang Shi and Lao Mamo both stood there stunned until Lu Wacheng looked at them. "Why is mother here?" Lang Shi frowned but quickly relaxed her expression. She said softly, "Mother came to see how your appetite is." As she said so, she cast an almost indiscernible glance at Lao Momo. Liao Mamo was utterly discomfited and she asked in a low voice, "Didn't you say that Shaojun is in the study?" Fengshen said, dazed, He was just in the study a moment ago." Lin Qingyu put down the bowl of porridge, stood up and said, "Madam, just sent Lao Mamo here not too long ago. Why would she be here again in person? Are you here to personally confirm whether young Master Hao has had a good meal?" Lu Wancheng smiled and said, "It's so cold outside, and still mother came to see me eat. I moved." Lang Shi forced a smile and said, "How could a mother not be concerned about her child? Wancheng, have you drunk the chicken soup that mother sent you?" "I wanted to drink it." Lu Wancheng looked at Lin Qingyu, "but he wouldn't let me." Lin Qingyu said calmly, "It is written in a book. Only once the evil spirits are expelled can a patient can take tonics. Young Master Hao is now physically weak. Too strong a tonic will only be a burden on his body. This is but general knowledge. Surely Madam knows this." Lang Shi's expression became even uglier. She opened her mouth. "I Naturally, mother knows. It must be due to the negligence of her subordinates forgetting to offer this reminder," Lu Wancheng said with a smile. "Wouldn't you say so, Lao Mamo?" Lao Mamo looked quietly at Lang Shi. Seeing that Lang Shi refused to look at her, she understood. Bracing herself, she knelt down. "Yes, it is the servant's fault. This servant should be punished." Without waiting for Liang Shi to speak, Lu Wancheng said, "Xinyu, how do you think she should be punished?" "This matter concerns the young Master Hao's health. We have no choice but to punish a little to prevent a lot. This should serve as a warning to others," Lin Qingyu said. "According to the rules of the Hao mansion, you should be fined 3 months of allowance and made to do druggery for a month." Lu Wancheng nodded. "I think this will do, but what I think is of no matter. What does mother think?" Lang Shi forced a smile and said, "It shall be handled as Xinyu said." After that, Lang Shi was obviously preoccupied, and after sitting around for a while, she took Lao Mama with her and left. When there were only 2 people left in the room, Lu Wancheng asked, "How did Lao Mama provoke you?" Lin Qingyu said, "She told me twice to change my term of address." "Change what term of address?" "She asked you to call me husband." Lin Qingyu's face looked cold as jade. Mm. Lu Wancheng laughed. "Dr. Lin, you really know how to nurse a grudge." Lin Qingyu narrowed his eyes at him. "Is that funny?" Lu Wancheng held back a smile. "Then I won't laugh, but how did you know the rules of the Hao mansion?" Lin Qingyu said indifferently. "Lao Mamo insisted on telling them to me. I tried my best not to listen, but I can't help it if my memory is too good. Lu Wancheng smiled and said, "Well, damn, she played right into your hands there." So that's the chapter. I know it's just chapter 3, but these two had made me like giggle so much. Like Lin Qingyu and Lu Wancheng, they just knew each other like for less than a day. And they're like literally working like a well oiled machine, like, supporting each other, like, turning people, like, to, like, just make them regret, like, playing with them, or like, trying to force them or look down on them. That's what I actually like about them. They're not like actively fighting and yelling, but they're just like, being very smart about it. So I already love like a smart character, but it's two, and both of them are in the same team and they're helping each other. What more can you ask? So it's a lovely read, I must say. So I hope you keep listening.